right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have our VRChat World Development Lessons for today. It is March 18, 2025. Tonight's lesson is we are going to learn how to spawn objects in our VRChat world. Spawning objects is a switch. And let me show you what you are going to learn today. Pay attention to the middle window because that's where you're going to learn today. And we're going to go right into it. The display mode using Cyan EMU. Pay attention to the middle. We're going to go to my other house and we're going to spawn a few things here. We're going to spawn them shields and dice. Now you may have noticed the dice are bouncing and that's because I added physics. We're going to be talking about physics in objects later on because that's a very simple concept. So we can spawn as many items as we want and we can play Dungeons and Dragons in here. It's basically coming out of that little pipe. Okay, now that I showed you what we're doing, let's actually showcase how to start. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to our house. We are going to make a cube button. That is our tutorial house. We are going to make a new game object, an empty game object. We are going to go title this spawners. We're going to call this button spawners. Actually, let's call this object spawners. That is what we're actually doing. We're going to learn how to object spawn. Don't forget to vote on our poll of the day. Our poll today is what you guys want to see. Do you guys want to see on lesson 4? Animations, animating a door on Thursday, or do you want to see physics? Okay? Because physics are important as well in terms of VR road development, just like it is in video game design. So let's go ahead and go to object spawners, and then under that, we're going to go to we're going to go to VRChat. No, not VRChat. Okay. Going to Pro Builder. We're going to make a new shape. Actually, before we make a new shape, let me exit out of that. Let's do not a new shape. Let's do. I'm going to delete that cube because what I want to do is copy this. I'm going to copy our switchboard. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to move it downstairs, and I'm going to remove the switchboard for the toggle light. Then I'm going to rename this to object toggles board. Okay. Then we're gonna make three. We're gonna make two different buttons. So we're going to go ahead and use clear that. Let's go ahead and use Pro Builder. I forgot I accidentally put that static. Pro Builder, new shape. We're gonna make a cube, and then we are going to go ahead and put this cube here. We're going to move this cube to our switchboard. We're gonna move this cube to the switchboard number object toggle board. We're gonna name this dice. Dice spawner. Alright. Then we're gonna copy that and we're gonna do a second one. We're going to make a baseball spawner. Actually let's no, not spawner. Trigger. Same thing with the dice. I'll explain why in a moment. Awesome. Then we're gonna make another empty game object. Actually, not a game object. Let's color this. That is for the dice. We're gonna color this red, and then for the baseball, we color this green. Let's go. Yeah, green. Awesome. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to make a spawn area under our main house object. We're gonna create an empty game object, and we're gonna call this spawn zone. What's gonna happen now is we are going to go ahead and do another game object, empty game object. We're gonna call this. Let's call this dice spawn position. We're gonna make another empty game object. I'm just gonna copy and paste. We're gonna call this baseball spawn position. Awesome. Once we have that, we're going to need this because when we are spawning an object, we need a position of said object. It's going to grab the position variable and numbers so that we can spawn an object in said area. Now, let's go ahead and code. Let's start programming our QBs. We're going to go back to our assets. I already made these scripts ahead of time, so I'm going to demonstrate what they do. Now, keep in mind, the scripts I'm going to show are local only, local player. I'm going to demonstrate global variable another time because tonight we're going to be doing two streams. One of them is not on here on YouTube. We'll be on Kick later tonight for Mario. But I have my Udon graph programming asset. If you forgot how to make a programming asset, right click, create, go to VRChat, Udon, Udon graph programming asset. I made two particular scripts. Not object toggle, object spawner and object spawn trigger. Where you're going to create an object spawn trigger on the buttons here. So this one is for the dice trigger. What we want to do is inspector, want to do an add component, udon behavior. Then we are going to go to I'm just going to drag the script, but I want to go over the script so that you guys know what we're referring to. We're going to use the object spawn trigger. And if we take a look at the inspector, you see there's a target and a target event. The target is going to be the area we want to spawn that object. So we so the die spawn position is our position. Now I put it right there in the origin 000, but we can put this anywhere. It does not have to be at 000. Let's put this over here somewhere. Oh, that's way too low actually. So right around there. Put it a little higher. Right there. I'm gonna remove the baseball position and then just gonna copy paste right there, and I'm just gonna call this baseball spawn. If you have any questions, let me know as well. Okay, now let's get started with the scripting. So like I mentioned earlier, the button are triggers, so it needs a target and a target event. The target is going to be the object the position you want it to trigger at. We're going to use the die spawn position. Uh, oh, that's because I don't have it yet. That's why. It's okay. Okay, that the reason why it's not working yet is because I haven't put everything in. Let me show you guys the script for the position trigger. Let's take a look at the trigger. Now, this is the script for the trigger. It is a target. It is a variable of target on behavior. So what we need to do to get that is press the plus button, look for udon behavior, and then you double click on new variable and you call it target if you want to call it target. Now keep in mind, do be very careful when it comes to variable. When it comes to variable names, please be very careful as it is case sensitive and name sensitive, especially as we get towards like advanced complex complicated material. Also need something called a target event, which is a string. This is going to be under string, and we're going to call it target event. And when you name variables, the first letter of each word is capitalized no matter what. And this is actually a programming rule. You learned this programming 101. The first letter of each word must be capitalized. It is a naming convention from programming. I'm going to delete these because I already have these. The next thing you want to do is drag target and target event. You want to draw your attention to event interact as well. So what is this going to do? When we interact with this object, we're going to send a custom event along with the target event that is that is going to be an event name and the form of a string. The target is an udon behavior. We're going to connect event interact with the arrow right here. We're going to connect udon behavior of target to the second one called instance. Target event is going to be a string, and we need to connect it to the third one, event name, which is going to be a string. Now keep in mind that the event interact must be an event. That's the script for the object spawn trigger. The next script I want to show you guys is the object spawn um, target spawner. Let's have a look at this. There it is. I was wondering where this was. Now this is going to be a bit of a big one here. So there's a little bit more involved. Let's draw your attention to this. By the way, you must have all of these public. To make a variable public, drop a down arrow and press this public button. And we're going to name a variable called spawner. It's a game object spawner. And then we have an event called spawn. And the event spawn is going to be our string. And you're going to see where this is coming from in a moment. So let's go ahead and see what we need. We need something called an event custom event. And you can get that spacebar event and then event custom. I believe is what it's called. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Oops. Hold on. Event. I saw it. Event custom. Saw that? Good. There it is. This event custom is the string that we're going to send. And this is where you put the word spawn. But keep in mind, it has to be the exact same case and exact same word. Because if you send the wrong word, it doesn't work. The next thing you need is the spawner, which is our game object. You can just drag it, drop. We're going to connect the event, custom event spawn or whatever word you want, we're going to connect that to something called VRChat initialize, instantiate, excuse me, which is under VRChat. I believe it's under instantiate. Yes, instantiate. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. There's the node. That is the node you want. Instantiate when you type it in. So we're going to connect that to the event, custom event, to the arrow, spawner, game object to original. The next thing we need is the positioning, and this is why you need a position. So we have a few things over here. The first thing is called a get transform. Okay, and we can find that under game object get transform, and we're going to connect the arrow from game object clone to get transform. On this over here called set position, under transform set position, which is under transform set position like this, you're going to see that there are variable values. The values you have here is going to be determined by a few things. The first is you have to instantiate it. Okay, and then you have a value x, y, z. Now you might be wondering why is there a vector 3 under here, and that is because we have a get position node. Let me explain how this works. The set position node, the instantiate, we're going to connect that to a transform set position arrow. Then we're going to connect the clone to the transform instance, and then we're going to get a get position. From get position vector 3, we're going to connect that to the last one. So what is this doing in the grand scheme of things? Because it's a lot of nodes that we are dealing with. What this is, it's a spawner area where the spawner section is going to find a custom event called spawn when it is sent to that event. Then it's going to instantiate that event while getting the transform and position of said event so that you can spawn that item or that object like you saw there. So now let's go ahead and practice that. Put that in practice. So the spawner event is going to be the position that we found our baseball. Okay, so we're gonna do the dice first. Now I got this dice from the asset store, but it does not matter what object you want to use. I'm using a dice just because I want to make it simple. The dice spawn position is going to be add component udon behavior, and we're going to connect our spawner asset, and then on the buttons, the one we're going to get the buttons. I believe we put it under triggers. There we go. We're going to use the trigger one. Let me just make sure in the other house that I did do that correctly. Let me just make sure I put the right one. Yes, the trigger. There we go. Make sure it's public as well. Okay, so the target is for this trigger is going to be where we put the dice spawn position. All you have to do is drag it. The target event is spawn because that's what we called it in our script. Then what we do next is go to our spawn position object and you see spawner. Now we want to put in the actual game object that we want to spawn. In this case, we were going to use a dice. D6 to be precise, for our Dungeons and Dragons friend. Because I made it as a custom prefab because I did add physics to this, which I'll demonstrate very briefly. So we're going to go dice spawn position. We're going to put our D6 in there. Save it. Now, remember we're going to use the other house. Not this one. The other house over there. So what needs to happen is, if we did this correctly, when we press this button, we're going to see a dice appear. We're going to go ahead and use Udon Cyan EMU to demonstrate what would happen. So, close menu. We're going to go to our house. You may have noticed that there's a button here. I'll show you what that is. I have something fun for you guys. So, if we look at the button here, there it is. There's your dice. Ta-da! Now, obviously, normally it's not bouncing like that, but keep in mind I did add physics to set dice. So, yes, it is going to spawn right there like that if you added physics to it right off the rip. And we can spawn as many as we want, and it's going to populate at the same area that we put that position variable. Now, it's not going to bounce anymore because we have too many dice. So we're going to get rid of these. And there you go. Now they're bouncing again. Yay, happy dice. There you go. Happy dice, nice life. Okay, apparently. Okay, now, now that I showed you that, I'm going to be happy to show you guys some physics. So here's how the physics stuff actually works. Just for fun, funsies. What I did is I made a custom folder. So I did right click, create folder, and we're gonna call this, let's say, custom material. The way that physics works in here, it's a material object. We're going to double click in that. We're going to right click, create. We're going to go down to physics. Where are you? Physics material. If I can find it here, physics material is under signal. Then, as you can see here, we have the new physics material, physics material. All right. Now there's five different settings we can play with: dynamic friction, static friction, bounciness, friction combine, and bounce combine. The way that we want to do this is we're going to make our dot ball bounce. We're going to make bounciness 1.75. Because why not? Bounce combine, we're going to max, go maximum. Okay, now keep in mind, it is up to you on for how much bounce do you want on your ball, on your baseball. So if you want 2000, go nuts. The objective here is to showcase physics. Now we can nickname this to test ball bounce. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply our said material to a ball. Thankfully for today, I have a baseball. Now, well, how do you apply this guy? With a collider, sphere collider, box collider, you want to make sure you have the material section. You have a material section. I have it already because I was playing around with this. Right, I'm going to press plus button and we're going to use our test ball physics material. We're going to save it. Now keep in mind, we're not spawning this. It's already in the world because I just dragged it in. But if you do the same thing we did with our ball spawner, our dice spawner trigger to our baseball one, is going to spawn with our physics. So let's go ahead and test it out. Show you guys the the thing here. Here we go. As you guys can see, we have baseball. You see bounce, 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 bounce. Now baseball does bounce, but but when you see like what's his face? Shohei Ohtani pitch, it doesn't when the actually let me change my example. When you see Mookie Betts hit the ball will bounce a little bit. It's not like too much bounce when you watch the baseball field. Okay, so it's something like that where it's like it's so small, the bounce is so small, but it does work because it does bounce. But you're never gonna see a baseball bounce too much. Now the reason why it's bouncing like that is because I just put it straight up. I did not throw it or anything. Also, you can see on the right side of the screen in testing mode using SciEmu, your position and your rotation is changing because the object is physics. The physics, what we put on it, is already applied to the position and to the rotation, not to the scale. The scale never works unless you actually use animations, which we'll go over if you guys want that on lesson 4, either this Thursday or next week. I just have to figure out where we're going to animate. Most likely an open door. But now I want to do something fun to show you guys what you can do with spawning objects, triggers. We're going to combine what we learned last session to showcase what we can do here. So I made a button. Guess what? It's a tennis court. Ta-da! We have a tennis ball and we have a racket that we can play with. And using this racket, we can theoretically play tennis. Ta-da! I just hit the ball. Actually, that is a bad way to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to showcase it in a VRChat SDK setting where I'm going to build and test what we just made. I will give you a hint. I already published a world like this. I already published this world. You can but you cannot play in it right now because I want to make it more fun for you guys when we upload it after all the lessons have been completed. This is just me showcasing what you can do in physics with physics and Unity. Combine that with our VRChat world development things. Now, you may be wondering, huh, physics, is that only for VRChat world development? No, it's also for video games. I want to remind you guys that Unity is also a video game development engine. That's exactly what it's designed to do. It just so happens that VRChat is with Unity. Therefore, what you learn in Unity VRChat world development, you can theoretically put it into video game development as well, in theory, in practice. So as you can see, now keep in mind, I am not my characters. For some reason, they won't let me use them. So what's going to happen is I'm going to open up the tennis court, so-called tennis court. And I'm going to grab my racket here, and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to hit the ball. Now do keep in mind this is very very glitchy at the moment, unfortunately, but that's okay. So you can see I'm hitting the ball. When I hit the ball, it does something. It goes there. Now keep in mind I am not on Quest at the moment. I am on desktop because I'm showing the keys, showcasing how you do this stuff. But the idea here is to showcase what you can do when you add physics with our lessons of spawning objects. Speaking of objects, however, you may have noticed that we cannot respawn objects. That's because we need logic to respawn an object, and I'm going to teach you guys that another time. But now I want to show you guys how I did the whole tennis racket material, besides grabbing it from the asset store, because why not? Now we can also throw the racket like you would normally do in a regular object. We can also throw the baseball like that. Hey, better swing. Or here comes the Mookie Betts fastball. There he goes. Goodbye. Home run. Right off the rip. Goodbye. Dodgers win the World Series again. Anyway, let's continue on here. Now, can you do it with a button? Yes, you can, but I'm going to investigate that because I think it's something similar to the ones we did with with the toggle object. In lesson two, we went into toggling objects. Here, we're doing spawning objects. That's a little bit different. Toggling objects is like the tennis court, where I have a button here, and this button triggers the tennis court. Okay, it triggers the tennis court, but that's because I put the objects already in the hierarchy. So let me demonstrate what's going on with spawning objects versus toggling. So pay attention to your left and right because this is important to difference so that you guys know what we're doing. So today's lesson is spawning objects. Last week's lesson was toggling objects. So when we toggle, to toggle an object, you click on it and it does stuff. That's what it does. It does stuff. Either turning on the light or move on to a different section or teleport. Those are toggling an event. Spawning is where an object is toggled, but it spawns at a certain location based on position variables, like we showed you in the scripting. When we did the dice, you see that it spawns at a particular position. Toggling is if you already placed it in the Unity thing here, and it will toggle exactly where you placed it. Okay, that's why we created empty game objects for positioning. Because if we do not put a game object, empty game object, positioning wise, and we kept it at 000, what's going to happen is it's going to spawn at 000, which if we know from math, 000 or 00 is origin, which is the center. And in this case, the center of the world, which is not exactly here per se. Because if we take a look at the the software right now, we look at this plane, this cube under the inspector, we're at position 64.6737. On X, Y, we're at 6.3, and then Z, we're at 58.3797. That is not 000. Therefore, we're not at the origin. That's why when somebody says, "Oh, you have to do empty game object for your position," this is why. Because if you don't, and you have to move it to where you want. Let's say, for example, um, let's say we have a object that we want to spawn at a certain location and not 000. Let's say I have something in here. Yes, I do. So at the beginning of the lesson, I showed you guys these two little cylinder pipe things, right? So I call this the object spawner. What's going to happen is when the object spawn, it spawns from right here in the center, kind of. So I have two spawn positions. Spawn position one and two is not here. It's actually over there, which is for something else I'm going to present later. But you get my point. The spawn position one is right here for one of the triggers that I showed you this earlier this lesson. But if let's just say that we don't move this to here, it will spawn at 0, 0, 0, which is the center of the world, which is not here. Okay, that's why it's important to have an empty game object for your position. And this is more important, especially if you're going to do like a menu where you have a menu in your world, like a scroll view, like this one right here. This is a menu, right? This counts as a menu, although you only have three options. When you have only three options, it's easier. But let's say you have more options than one, than three that I'm showing you here, and we want to make sure our positioning is correct. You have to make sure you have all your positions right, otherwise it won't work. That's the caveat to spawning objects. And make sure you also have a spawn area and a spawner. A spawn trigger, no, excuse me. You need a spawn trigger and a spawner area. The trigger is a button or switch. And in this example today, I showed you a switch. The spawner area is going to be a area where you want to have it spawn based on an empty game object position. So that's what you guys need to understand. And I showed you guys today the graph, Udon graph programming asset. So object spawn trigger and object spawner. Spawner where you want it to happen, spawn trigger where you want to press to make it happen. Okay? It's like a it's like a game show. So you know how in Plinko, this is where this thingy is coming into play now. Although I'm just making this for fun. On The Price is Right, there's a game that they play called Plinko. Now, obviously, you don't press a button to spawn the Plinko chip, right? You just drop it into a slot. But what if there was a button? There's a spawner. There's a spawn trigger right there. That's a spawn trigger. But it's not working correctly because I'm trying to make it bounce on the cube. But you see my point. About to see my point here. Blue house. So I'm gonna spawn the little thing here. You see how it's not um going where I want it to go right now? But that's okay because I'm just showing you guys, hey, this is what I'm thinking I'm doing, and here's all the tennis balls coming out. But it can be a very good idea to use for Plinko kind of deal. Or actually, let's make one fun thing really fast. Now that you guys know about spawning objects, let's do one quick fun thing before we call it. We are gonna make a custom dice tower. Huh? I wonder where we have heard that before. Oh, that's right, D&D. That's right. We are going to make our little dice tower today, just to show off what we have learned today. Now, I'm going to use this button because the dice is already there. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a dice tower. So we're going to go ahead and make another game object. Let's make an empty game object. We're going to call it dice tower base. And then we're going to put it under here. And then we're going to make an object Pro Builder. Pro Builder. Thank you. New shape, and we're gonna call it right here. We're gonna be over here, and then we're going to make it wide enough to where that box right there. Now we're going to also go into one other thing, and that is a box collider. I just want to make sure this is lined up properly. Uh, yes. Okay. Gonna make a little wider so they can cover the thing. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box collider. Box collider vector. We'll do a box collider, and I am going to edit my box collider pressing this button, and I am going to put it. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it to where the wall won't be hit the wall there. Gonna hit this wall. Now what I'm gonna do to make it more interesting is you can put this all the way up to the roof. What I want to do is I'm gonna make this dice tower right here. Undo button. Yeah. Hold on. Give me one moment, guys. Alright, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so, alright, so for this one, we're gonna be making a dice tower. Right. Make sure our box collider covers the whole thing here. Okay, very good. Now we're gonna make four box colliders so that we can put it in the object. The second one is gonna go on the left side. So we're gonna go. We have to place it where we can put it on the left. There we go. And then we're gonna place it up. We're gonna go up, and then we're gonna do another box collider, and we're gonna place it right here on the left. Nice. Good. And then we're gonna make one more. Just make sure that we are covered our bases. 1, 2, 3. We have three box colliders. Let's make sure we cover them all. Nice, nice, nice. Now we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it here and see what we got. We have a wrong house. This one? No. Nice. No wait, I didn't want it. There it goes. There it goes. There's our little dice tower. Now sometimes it will go out of bounds. That's okay. We have a 5, 1, 1, 5, 1. So we have a 3, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have a 13. So that becomes our little dice tower. Now we're gonna make it more dice tower-esque. So we're gonna need another cube. Call this dice tower. We need another cube though. So we're gonna go up. We're gonna remove the dice box gliders now. And the reason for that is because it's already there. So we're gonna remove the box colliders except for Let's see how that responds. Let's respond. How does the cube respond to that one? Now that we have bouncy, we have bounciness. We bounce the cube. Okay, that's not gonna cut it. Oh, it went out of bounds. No, the other one did not. Okay, I don't think it even used it. Let's see. Maybe it did. No, it didn't. But it just keeps going out of bounds. So it does use the thing here. Nice. Yeah, it does do that, but it is for some reason. Oh, I see why. Okay, one of the box colliders is a little short. That's what happened, and it is the one. Ah, it's this one. Okay. Oh, because I didn't put one on the left side. Duh. Okay. I need to put one on the left side. So I'm gonna remove. I'm gonna actually add this one, and I'm just gonna change the positioning. Oops. Okay. We're gonna do this, do this, do this. I believe it's this one. Yes. We're gonna do that. A little bit of this. Then we are going to do uh, this one this way. I think we got it. Let's see. I will be putting it way higher though. Yeah. If I don't put this high, it's going out of bounds. But at the same time, I need to put this one low so it can go with the rest of the wall. Okay, you see like that. Awesome. Once we're done with this, that will be the end of the lesson. So that I just want to show you guys physics, finding objects. I guess next we are gonna work on looks like to be animations on Thursday. Oh goodness, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Get ready to code that too. We're coding there because we need to make sure we tell the animator, hey, we need this, this, and this animated. That's what the animation is gonna do. There it goes. Yep, you can see that it does use our little. Oh wow, that thing went back. It does use our little thing over there. We just spawn a lot of bodies. Ooh, nice, nice roll. Now we're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna make sure it is lined up with our thing here. All right, and then we can do one more thing where we add one more cube, and we change the scale, put it this way, and then rotate that little guy like at an angle. The catch is we have to make sure that's not going to go out using this one in particular. So let's try it with that. Let's see what happens when we have the slant on that like little QB. Let's try that again. And you want to make sure your physics is there. Yeah, we need more than one. There it goes. Nice. And except I think for the second one, I messed it up a little bit. Yeah, I did. Hold up. Okay, I need to remove the box collider of this one so they can at least go somewhere. And let's try that again. So you gotta make sure your box colliders are in the right spot so they can bounce like a dice. I mean, not bounce, but you know what I mean, roll. Like a critical roll. There it goes. Okay, one of them made it downstairs. I think I know where the problem child is. Okay, I know where the problem child is. It's these two areas. They have a box collider, and I forgot to remove them. But that's okay. Our main goal today was to spawn objects and you have fun using physics. Even though there's not a full straight up physics lesson. Now keep in mind that um you want to make sure that when you do physics, they are global. I'm gonna do one more thing, and to make it pick up pick up pick upable, we're going. We have a we have we have we have a few things. We have VRC pickup, and then we need a VRC object sync. So that if another player comes into the world, we can all see it. If you do not have a VRC object sync, then what's going to happen is I may see it, you don't see it. If you're a second player in my world and we do not have VRC object sync, it won't work because it's a network event. The network event is going to present us with network. It's two players or more. So let me demonstrate this dice. I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to remove VRC object sync on the second one. So I'm going to remove this component on that dice. What's going to happen now is I am going to do VRChat SDK. I'm going to build two clients. Present what happens if you do not have VRC object sync. You may have also noticed something else. VRC player object. VRC player object is only used for persistence, which is going to be covered another time because I have to get ready for our kick stream later tonight for Mario. And that's a big one because it's our return to kick. Make sure you guys follow. Yes, we have Mario tonight, but on kick only. Mario tomorrow is on YouTube, but it's going to be our regular scheduled um Mario and the Rainbow Stars. That's going to be later tonight. Rainbow Stars is tomorrow. Um, Mario Rum Hack is later tonight on Kick only. Retro Yuki, my original name, is going to be the thing you want to follow for tonight. Okay, I have two clients left and right. I believe the one on the right is the host. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear my
You
voice
hear my
twice
voice
because I think
because I
I
think
have
I have
my thing
my
on.
thing
Yes, I
on.
do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
I do.
So I'm gonna turn off my
I'll
voice
turn off my
here.
voice.
Okay. So let's pay attention to the one on the right. Oh, wrong house. My second dice. Okay. I have this dice in my hand. Is that thing down? Oh, wrong house. Is that thing bouncing on the one on the left? Yes, it is. And it stopped bouncing. Now, if I can get this one to stop bouncing, that would be nice. Oh, okay. Now, am I holding it? As you guys can see on the right, on the left, I'm holding this dice. The catch, on the right, you see the other client not showing anything. Like it's invincible to the client. That is because this particular dice does not have VRC object sync. So it's not networked to show everybody. It's a local because this is considered local cube because we never put VRC object sync. That's an important um that's a very important component. So if you want to play a game like Monopoly or you want to make your own version of Monopoly, make sure it's the dice that you are playing with has VRC object sync so that all the other players can see. Because if the other players cannot see, it's like you're cheating. Okay? What about the dice with the with the with the dice tower? Let's take a look. Ah, yes. That is what you call a local spawner. The next time when we go back to objects, we are going to talk about global spawning of objects because there is all we have to do is change the script a little bit. And I'm going to explain that next time, right? Because it's almost kick time at 3 hours from now. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Now remember, because it's local, let me show you guys the difference. You see how the dice distribution on the left and right are different. You see how the dice are different. That's because it's local spawn, not networked with this VRC object sync. That's also another difference. If it's not VRC object sync, it's not going to show the same thing. And if it doesn't show the same thing, people are going to accuse you of cheating. It's like hiding your dice when you don't want to say it's a natural one in D&D, right? So yeah, there's your lesson for today. Object sync, spawning objects locally, and you also got to see a little bit of playing with physics today. So next time on Thursday, assuming that I can practice it, we're gonna be doing animations on doors. What's gonna happen is we're gonna have a door with a hinge, like your normal door with a hinge, like the one you you grab and then you put down, right? That's a hinge. We're going to be doing that with our next lesson, animation. We're also going to open the door by clicking the door. So in theory, what's going to happen? I'm going to explain one little example. I don't have it ready, but I want to present what is going to be what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to make a cube, a new shape cube, and I'm going to resize this guy. And then let's pretend that this is the door. We're going to pretend that this cube is a door for our next lesson. This is a door, okay? Let me redo that. And then let's say that this door is right there. That's the door. I'm gonna put it to where I can open this door. Let me go ahead and put it all the way up so that it's an actual door. So this is the door. What's gonna happen is when we add animations to said door, I know it doesn't look colorful, but let me actually color it wood. There, done. This is my door. Okay. So what we're gonna do in our next lesson, when we press the hinge, what's gonna happen is the hinge is gonna go up, and then this door is gonna go this way. So what we're eventually gonna do, is we're gonna have this door open outward or inward, depending on our mood. All right. I'm positioning this correctly, but it feels like a door, not anything else. So would be the door open animation, and then this would be door close. Open, close, open, close. The hinge would be over here. Let's just make a cube here, new shape cube. Let's do this so it looks like a little hinge. Let's color it a little bit, and then when you press it, the hinge is gonna go. Ooh, that's bad. Let's go. Uh, Actually, let me rotate this around. Let me put this back this way. Well, you'll find out what I'm trying to do here in a moment. So this is the hinge. What's gonna happen is we're gonna rotate this way, and then this is gonna go rotate that way. That's door open. Door closed. We're going to rotate this way, and then we're gonna rotate this way. Door closed because the hinge is blocking the door from being open. So that's what's going to happen on Thursday if I can like practice it on time. That's it for this lesson. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will be doing a like a shorter version of this on my classroom channel so that you guys can do it on your own leisure. We'll be back tonight at 9:30 on Kick for our Mario debut. Tomorrow here on the main channel, Yuki Productions, we got Mario and the Rainbow Stars Part 4. If this game does not feel like you guys like it, I am considering merging everybody together right away. Kick, YouTube, and Facebook. Right away. If you guys do not like that particular game, I don't mind. Just let me know in the poll. That's it for now. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Mario. Tonight for Mario on Kick. tomorrow for Mario here on the channel. Next lesson on Thursday, we're going to be talking about animations. We're going to do a simple one. Now, we're not going to make those complex ones. Enjoy, and may you always roll natural 20s.